They stared at each other in silence, and then shake hands. But is it really for the last time? Is this a parting gesture, or a sign of cracking something deeper? BTS's Jungkook and V, two best friends, two brothers, two souls who have always seemed inseparable. Why does this moment feel like the end of everything? Did you notice how they shook hands? Did you catch a strange vibration in the silence? No words, just a touch. But why does it feel like the world collapses in that one simple movement? Are Jungkook and Taeil really just saying goodbye as fellow soldiers? Or is there something deeper, darker, and more heartbreaking going on behind their handshake that suddenly becomes the spotlight of the whole world? When fans heard that Jungkook and Taeil, two members of BTS who always look compact, were seen shaking hands with each other in a brief moment inside a military camp, no one thought that the short recording would make ARMY's heart seem to be squeezed. The camera captures just a few seconds, a deep look, a faint smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes, and a handshake that doesn't feel like "see you soon" but more like "goodbye." What exactly happened? Why does Jungkook's facial expression seem to be holding something back? And why does Taeil look like he's covering up tears that haven't fallen yet? Haven't they always been the most cheerful duo? The most full of laughter, the most powerful in the face of a storm? So, why is it now as if their worlds are separated in one handshake? Some eyewitnesses who were close to the training area claimed to feel a different aura when the moment occurred. A logistics staff even mentioned that previously, Jungkook had stood alone for a long time on the sidelines before Taeil finally approached him. No words were heard, only minimal body movements. But it was precisely in that silence something felt broken, and that's where the biggest question arises. Is this the end of their friendship? We all know that the military can change a person. Discipline, physical and mental stress, separation from the world of entertainment. All this can suppress a person's emotions to the most vulnerable point. But who would have thought that change could be seen so quickly, and in two people who we thought would never be emotionally distant? Jungkook and Taeil are known as soulmates on many occasions. They laughed together, cried together, and once even confessed that they understood each other without words. So, why does this simple moment feel like the climax of a story we never knew was being written? Some fans started looking for clues from their uploads before entering the military. Jungkook's last post on Wever showed him smiling, but his caption read, "Sometimes the hardest thing is to be silent." Is that sarcasm? Is he holding on to something he never said? Not even to Taeil. Taeil wrote on the day of his departure, "Life is not about who walks with you, but who stays when you are silent." Two sentences, two hearts, one handshake, and the whole world begins to guess. Is this a sign that they have decided to go a different path, even after the military? And even more surprisingly, there was no hug, no pat on the shoulder, just a handshake. Formal, silence, cold, or full of meaning. Some soldiers said they cried for days after seeing that moment. Not only did they miss both of them on stage, but something in the handshake felt like unspoken bad news. Fans began to formulate theories. Did they quarrel before the draft? Are there any conflicts that are never revealed to the public? Or is it just the HYB who tries to cover up their attitude differences in order to maintain the image? Before the handshake, Jungkook avoided Taeil's gaze during the morning training session. One of the coaches even reportedly asked them to address their personal problems as the disturbance of the atmosphere between them began to affect the team. What does that mean? Is there really a distance created? Or is this just a momentary emotional farewell exaggerated by the indeed stressful atmosphere of a military camp? But things got even more confusing when, 2 days after that moment, someone from within the military leaked that Jungkook had cried at night. He did not mention the reason. But when asked who last spoke to him before he seemed emotional, Taeil's name resurfaced. So, is Jungkook crying over a painful breakup? Or is it because of something Taeil said before they shook hands? There is no official confirmation yet. Not from HYB, not from their families, not even from the remaining fellow BTS members outside the military. Everybody shut up. And perhaps therein lies the most painful truth, because when all is silent, we can only guess. And in ignorance, the pain becomes much sharper. Point one thing is certain. The handshake is not an ordinary handshake. It was a handshake that harbored too many questions, too much uncertainty, too many invisible wounds, and perhaps too many stories will never be told in public. And behind all that, the army can only hope that this is not the end of things. But what if this is the end? What if the handshake was a symbol of a decision they had secretly made? And what hurts the most? What if while we wait for them to return as two complete friends who return to the stage together, who smile and embrace each other, they will instead return as two strangers who have only one shared memory, a last handshake in a military camp? Time seemed to stop when the handshake happened. No sound. There were no hysterical shouts of fans. Only the whisper of the wind among the camp trees and the steps of military boots echoing on the cold asphalt. But what made the most impression was not his handshake, but the gaze between them. A look that seemed to say more than 1,000 sentences. A look that made millions of soldiers around the world wonder, what's wrong with them? Are they harboring something we don't know? It's no secret that Jungkook and Taeil's friendship is often the subject of conversation. They are V-kook. They're the most legendary duo in BTS history, known for their cohesiveness and intimacy that transcends stage boundaries. But just as the sun appears bright from a distance but stores explosions in it, does their relationship also store pressures that have not been seen? We can't forget how Jungkook once said in an old interview, "V is the person who can bother me the most but also misses me the most." A simple sentence that now feels different if we repeat it again in the context of the military handshake. Is the word annoying just a joke? Or is there actually a tension that has never been unraveled? More surprisingly, in internal training documents leaked to the public without official confirmation, it was mentioned that there was a small incident between two public figure personnel that caused the training schedule to be postponed for several hours. Although not named, the time and location of the incident perfectly matched the day when Jungkook and Taeil's handshake took place. Did they argue before shaking hands? Imagine this. Two best friends, separated by military obligations, are under tremendous pressure. All the things that had not been discussed so far finally pushed out. Maybe they argue. Maybe they're crying. Perhaps they are silent. And, in the end, a handshake. But why does the handshake look like a sign of the end? Controversial question. Did HYB deliberately hide this rupture of relations? During this time, large companies like HYB certainly had the power to shape the public narrative. Photos released, videos edited, and footage of moments of togetherness can be selected very carefully to maintain BTS's image of togetherness. But what if this time they can't hide it? The fact that there is no official documentation from HYB about the moment of the handshake, and that the clip circulated through unofficial military accounts, is a big question mark. Why didn't HYB release it herself? Are they trying to cover something up? Furthermore, Taeil is known to have deleted one of his draft personal messages on the fandom community platform. Its contents have not yet been known to the public, but the time of removal was only a few hours after the handshake with Jungkook. Does he want to say something, then pull back because of the pressure? And Jungkook? He did not appear again on military radio broadcasts that were usually open to army artists to greet fans. Previously, he was scheduled to attend to give a special message to the army. His absence has been the subject of heated speculation. Did he refuse? Is he experiencing an emotional crisis? "We saw that they were silent for a very long time," said a recruit who did not want to be named. Usually they joke with each other, but that day there was a black cloud hanging between them. Even our coach said, "It's not an ordinary day for both of them." This sentence sounds like something from a movie script, but in fact, human emotions can never be completely hidden. And a small moment like a handshake can be a symbol of great change. Has their friendship changed forever? For some fans, just seeing the two in one frame is enough to prove that all is well. But not every story can be deduced from the picture. Behind one moment of smile can be hidden years of pain. Behind one handshake can be hidden thousands of words that were never said. Imagine if it's someone you love the most, suddenly move away for no reason. Then you meet again in a stressful situation, and you don't know how to talk. All that remains is a handshake, a symbol of honor, and sometimes a symbol of farewell. Did I ask this goodbye? Or Is it a silent apology? We don't know. Because there are no words. There is no clarification. Just shut up, and the army can only wait. Waiting for news from two big names who once vowed to be together until TH. One day after the video of the handshake went viral, the hashtag #VKookFarewell instantly ranked one world trend. Not only on Twitter, but also on TikTok, Weverse, and even South Korean forums that are usually more closed about idol emotional affairs. But it's not just digital trends that are proof that this moment shook a lot of hearts. It also shook the emotions, memories, even traumas of fans who followed BTS since the HYYH era. Some longtime fans even started re-uploading snippets of V and Jungkook's moments from the past, when they joked, when they had a little fight, when they cried silently backstage, when they shared headsets in the waiting room. All of those pieces now feel like little mosaics toward one heart-wrenching climax, that final handshake. Why does it feel like forever? They just went into the military. This question comes up again and again. But the army's heart knows it's not just about conscription. It's about expression, body language that cannot be lied to, about the way Jungkook looked at V as if he was holding something back, about V who had lowered his head before finally reaching out his hand with trembling hands. His hands, which were usually strong and full of confidence on stage, were now in doubt. There's something they haven't said yet, and like a wound hidden behind a smile, Army felt something was broken, a surprising question that is now beginning to resonate. Is the handshake not just a symbol of respect, but also an apology? They've been through a lot together. World tours, media scandals, mental exhaustion, even tremendous public pressure. But one thing that was never really talked about was their little feud, which was once implied in the content of BTS Run and Bon Voyage. Jungkook and Taeil once snapped at each other, and although it was always resolved with laughter, Army knew those little wounds were piling up. And now, maybe they can't keep it anymore. I asked the military a place for introspection. Some military colleagues who have served with Korean idols mentioned that during the training period, the pressure was not only physical, but also emotional. Idols who previously lived with the tight rhythm of the stage schedule now have to deal with silence. And in that silence, things that had not been resolved in the past began to resonate. An unofficial source said that Taeil had a sleepless night after the handshake. He reportedly sat alone for a long time outside the dormitory, just staring at the night sky and not saying a word, while Jungkook is more reserved. He reportedly stayed in a corner of the barracks with a depressed face and refused all requests to chat from his colleagues. It's like two people who both want to talk, but don't know where to start, said a military staffer who happened to be watching the moment from a distance. They both seemed to blame themselves, but no one really said sorry. The words are slicing. I said about events in the past? About a sentence ever uttered in anger? About a message that was never sent? Or about decisions taken too hastily? And one big unanswered question. Is this really the last time they shake hands as Jungkook? Imagine if the two people you consider to be your pillars of power started to drift apart. Not out of hatred, but out of guilt. Not because of a big fight, but because of a small wound that was never dealt with thoroughly. Isn't that the saddest tragedy? More painfully, fans began to notice one pattern. In Taeyoung's last post before enlisting in the military, he only mentioned BTS in general. But there are no special photos with Jungkook, and vice versa. Jungkook only mentioned my brothers, my friends, without naming names. While their relationship used to be so close, even to the point that V once said, Jungkook is the first person I meet in the morning and the last one I leave at night. What's changed? When did that change? And who started it? Too many questions. The answer is quiet. Even Jimin and Jin, who are usually active and calming fans, chose to be silent. No statement. There is no emoji. Just silence. Which actually reinforces the assumption that something is indeed happening. Are we witnessing the beginning of a permanent separation? Is the handshake not just a symbol of chivalry, but a symbol of the end of a story? One Army senior wrote, they started out as innocent kids in the training room. They grew up together. But not all trees grow together. Sometimes one is higher, the other grows in different directions. I'm not angry. I'm just heartbroken. It's not just a quote. It is the voice of thousands of hearts that now feel empty. It's not just about idols. It's about a feeling of loss that we're never prepared for. That handshake wasn't just a military